The next race we're going to look at is the Rosehill Guineas, over 2,000 metres as well. Rest in peace, Riff Rocket won last year. His name bobs up obviously a lot when we talk about these Group 1 races because he's won or raced very well in a few. Was a fantastic horse. But Broadsiding is the favourite, was obviously second to Linebacker last start. He has a second crack at the 2,000 metres now, and I think he's ready for it, in my humble opinion. I want to hear yours though, Clancey. First, maybe touch on the speed.
Yeah, there's been some interesting market moves already since yesterday upon opening. Broadsiding got out to 235, 240, and I just note now that it's back into even money almost. Gold Rush Guru, the other one coming from the Victorian form, the Australian Guineas, and has been well backed in and just drifted back out to 550. So some interesting moves there to begin. There's a bit of a messy speed map here. There's no real clear leader. I think Mallorca Sunset has speed, as does Kasuki out wide. I think they're probably the two that push forward, but it's by no means going to be a rapidly run race on paper. It does bring in J-Mac's possibility to go forward on Broadsiding. If there's not going to draw on one of the widest barriers, I think, out in Gate 9. So could certainly sit forward if it doesn't appear he's going to get in on a slow tempo. And I think he's probably the jockey you want on board to be making those decisions on your even money favourite. For me, I won't be backing Broadsiding, although I've got him $2.25 favourite. So right at the top of the market there. I want to be with the Swift Falcon Aliana form line. So behind Linebacker and Broadsiding in the Randwick Guineas a fortnight ago. I think Swift Falcon continues to get better and better. And I laid Swift Falcon last week purely on price. And now we're actually getting we're almost getting 3 times the price of Broadsiding now, for a horse that did run the fastest closing figures. And Aliana is the other one who I backed last start, and I was a little bit disappointed. About the 400, 600 just really wasn't quickening like the others. But if you go back, you watch the last 100, she's actually gone through the line faster than anyone. And so that makes me think the 2000 is going to be right up her alley here. We've talked many times on this show about Chris Waller second up, how they sometimes regress. Well, they find an extra gear third up, and that's what we've got here for Aliana as the filly in the field. So they're the two I want to be with, Swift Falcon and Aliana. Gold Rush Guru, absolutely no knock. This horse is going so well and continue to get better and better over ground. But the only thing with Gold Rush Guru is the rating stays still just over a length off the Sydney form. So absolutely can find that length here, but I'm happy to be with the Sydney form.
Yeah, nice, Clancey. What about you, Trent? How you playing this race? Obviously, Broadsiding has been a little bit left and right sometimes for you. It seems to win when you want to lay it, and obviously the opposite, the other side. What do you want to do here?
Yeah, I'm going to be with him. I was actually going to touch on it as well, just looking at the market. He's come in 30, 40 cents in the last 15 minutes, I think, as we're recording this show, which I thought was interesting. So he's into even money now, which is getting onto the short side. But I thought it was interesting last start in the Randwick Guineas. He was backed into $1.60, and Swift Falcon was $5. Now Broadsiding's actually $2 and Swift Falcon's the same price. And while Swift Falcon was good again from the back, Broadsiding still beat him home and has now beaten him home both times this preparation. I thought the other interesting thing was as well with Swift Falcon is that he's been finishing his races off really well. But you go back to last preparation, so he won that listed race at Randwick over 1,600 metres, then goes to Rosehill Group 3, 1,800 metres, and his rating dips significantly. He goes from 108 to 100. And then again in the Spring Champion, only manages 102. I'm not convinced that he actually wants 2,000 metres. He's finishing off his race as well, but that's not necessarily an indicator that he needs a step up in distance. It just might be that he's getting too far back and doesn't have the gate speed to take up a position. Whereas Broadsiding, I think here, drawn wide, but that's no issue for me. J-Mac will roll forward and, probably just land the 1-1 as he always does from these wide barriers. They seem to just let him in. So I thought off that SP ratio last start, I thought Broadsiding, you could actually make a case that he's a bet here. Now that price has come in a little bit, so I might wait for him to get back out a bit more. The other thing I wanted to touch on as well is that there's always been this comparison Broadsiding to Animo. And while Animo had already run better ratings as a 3-year-old, I thought it was interesting that Animo, so he won the Hobartville first up in this campaign and ran to a rating of 117. It's the exact same rating that Broadsiding won in the Hobartville 117. Then was beaten in the Randwick Guineas. Animo was beaten by Converge, ranked to 118, so improved his rating by £1, was beaten. And Broadsiding's done the exact same thing, beaten by Linebacker, but still improved his rating by £1. So Animo then improved out of sight in the Rosehill Guineas and won by 6 lengths on a wet track. But I'm not saying that that's necessarily what's going to happen here. I just found it interesting that they've run the exact same ratings, a very similar profile horse, and now third up to 2,000 metres. I think Broadsiding can improve again.
Yeah, right. So you'll have a play. Is there a price you're looking for to be able to back?
I thought 220, 225. I'm probably similar to Clancey with the market there, but anything higher than that's probably a bet for me. Hopefully, as this market percentage continues to come down and there might be a few knocks and people look at those closing sectionals of Swift Falcon, that we can get a bit of a better price.
I remember earlier in the season, Clancey, you were laying Broadsiding because you just thought he was too short. And then I asked you what price you would be keen to back him, and he ended up drifting to that price. I'm just wondering, did you end up backing him?
Yeah, it was in the Hobartville, the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
I said I'm keen to lay at the even money, but I would have something on if you get it to $3. But I wasn't watching that day. I wasn't watching from home.
Naturally.
And then when I saw the BSP, and obviously I've locked in my lay bet, geez, I was flat. But it goes to show, if you're not willing to watch the races throughout the day and you got something else planned, you're gonna get bit.
Well, I didn't mention it before, but a couple of these shorties, I mean, especially via Sustina, it could have been one of those plays where you could back, set your odds to $2, $2.30, $40, and keep to in play. And if she touches that because she gets too far back or whatever it is, there's a lot of volatility in the in play market. So you can get matched at those prices, for a fleeting moment. And then obviously could potentially firm. I mean, it could go the other way, but it's a way of looking to get a better price in these markets on Betfair. Probably one of the great advantages to betting with Betfair versus your corporates.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.